Hi, I'm Corey Joe CJ and welcome to Commander class. In today's class we've already gone over some of the stuff. We've gone over the land version and the enchantment version. So if you haven't caught on by now, we're going to be starting the artifacts. When it comes to this video specific, we're going to be going over the different types of artifacts, giving a small version and maybe showing a few of them, and then in the next few classes breaking them down individually and then giving more detail about the artifacts and the different versions of artifacts. So what is an artifact? When it comes to artifacts, they are majority kind of pretty much made things. Now this could be a variation of different things, but the best way to put it is like non-living things. However, it does get confusing because there is living things, but they're usually like man-made living things, like they're usually like robots or like things with souls in them. It's one of those things that they're kind of not born, they're rather created. These artifacts are usually in a silver border unless they have a coloured pip, or the old versions, or what they've been doing is reprinting new cards in old border, they call it. That was a brown colour. But there's also stuff like weapons and shields and pretty much like sculptures and buildings and stuff like that. And there's different variations depending on what you want or need. So we're going to start off with your classic artifact type, which are just solely artifacts. These come in two variations. They are usually mana rocks, so things that tap or give mana, and then artifacts that have abilities. So it's usually like an ability that you can pay for and tap, or you can just tap it. You don't even have to tap it sometimes. Sometimes an artifact depends on what happens on the field. The great thing about artifacts is that when they are put onto the field, they can instantly be tapped because they don't have summon sickness unless it is an artifact creature, which we'll be getting onto next. So I thought I will give some examples of the two pretty much versions of the classic artifacts, the mana rocks and then just the artifacts with abilities. And here are some on screen now. Sol Ring, Ashnod's Altar, Chromatic Ori, Aether Vial, Azor's Gateway, Boom Pile, and later on when this game got more famous, they decided to add artifacts with coloured pips. So these are usually artifacts rather, for example, weapons or rather monuments to other creatures, and they usually have a coloured pip, but the same works for them. Second they are played, you're able to tap them, but it is good to separate the two from the artifacts usually colourless to artifacts that have a colour pip or multiple colour pips in them. So I thought I'll give a few examples of them on screen now. Avacyn's Memorial, Encroaching Mycosith, Bolas's Citadel, Sandra's Regulator, Bootlegger's Stash, Doors to Durin, Edgar Markov's Coffin, and now we are going on to artifact creatures. These are creatures that are usually rather made by like nature or like anything like a magician or a wizard have made, or they're like robots and sculptures or anything like that. The only downside about these is that they do have summon sickness, mainly because of that creature wording. But then you're thinking, why would I play an artifact creature when I can just play a creature? The benefit of that is abilities that have affinity for artifacts, or cards that matter for how many artifacts you control, or the artifact with the most mana value. There's many different ways this can be done. There's many different cards that matter about how many artifacts you have on the field. So it's still really good to have artifact creatures. So I just thought I would show some of them on screen now. Mycosith Golem, Phyrexian Trinomorph, Platinum Angel, Mirror Battlesphere, Platinum Emperor, and then they decided to add artifact creatures that have multiple colour pips or a single colour pip. And these are only variation if you're playing something like Commander, then you can only have this artifact creature in that deck if the colour is the same as your Commander. But when it comes to the classic non-colourless artifacts, you're allowed to pretty much have them in any deck. So I thought I would throw in some colour artifact creatures, cards such as Cataclysm Gearhulk, Majestic Sphinx, Arcane Proxy, Athunium Horn Sorcerer, Breya's Appearance, Weeping Angel, but since we're on the topic of Commander creatures, they also added legendary artifact creatures. These are artifact creatures that can also be your commander and are usually trying based off other artifacts or cards that a lot of artifacts can go in, or if you want, you can add them in based on your commander to help your commander out depending on what card you want in. So these are usually really good, and a lot of people I've seen play a handful of these. There is multiple WUBRG artifact legendary creatures, and I thought I would show some of them on screen now. Breya Ithumeion Shaper, Anrakyr the Traveller, Belsalium's Crawl, Megatron Tyrant, Bosch Iron Golem, Urtent Remnant of Menarch, Cody Volcafer's Codex, Reaper King. But then you also probably want to know the card type when it comes to powering up your commanders or your creatures. There is also artifact equipment. These are pretty much as what they're called. They are man-made equipment, such as swords, shields, masks, and other variations. When it comes to the difference between these and artifacts, the only really difference is it's usually a benefit of giving keywords or powering up abilities. Usually they are different ones. And then there is a thing saying equip cost, which when you play the artifact for the mana cost, it just kind of sits there until you equip it onto a creature for the equip cost, giving that creature the benefits that are on the card. These also come in colourless and variations of different coloured cards, so I thought I would show the colourless ones now. Batterskull, Angentum Armour, Basculus Collar, Black Blade Reforged, Andrul Flame of the West, and then I will throw in some of the colour equipment as well. And here they are on screen now. Blade of Shared Souls, Battle Mage's Bracers, Place Sun Steel, Bone Sabers, Belt of Giant Strength. But then they decided we need more artifacts, more artifact card types. We're going to add in Vroom Vrooms, or what people call artifact vehicles. When it comes to these, it's pretty much as what you think it would be. It is like cards, trains, submarines, planes, boats, airships, anything you can make, and they are usually in a kind of both. It's kind of brown and silver borders, and it will have artifact vehicle on them. When it comes to these, they all have an ability called Crew. When it comes to crewing, it's pretty much you tapping a creature and whatever its power is, if it's same or higher than the crew needed, you're able to pretty much use that card for the turn. Pretty much what you're doing is you're getting your creature into the vehicle and then using the vehicle to attack. Now these come in colourless and they also come in coloured as well, so I thought I would throw a few on screen now. Nettaloid Ship, Deluxe Dragster, Cultivar's Caravan, Dodgy Jallopi, Sharika Genesis Engine, Aerial Surveyor, Mukotai Soul Reaper, Reckoner Bankbuster, Horde Hauler, Weatherlight Completed, and then lastly is tokens, artifact tokens. These are usually made by instant sorceries, creatures, other artifacts, some enchantments I think. They are pretty much like permanent cards, but they don't really stay there for long. These usually come in two variations. Classic artifacts, like something like treasure, gold, food, clues, and then there is also creatures that come in rather coloured or colourless. These are usually like Daleks, Cybermen, and other variations, golems and stuff like that, so I will be showing a few of them on screen now. Dalek, Clue, Robot, Treasure. Now we have gotten a glimpse through what artifacts are in general. If you're curious more about them, don't worry, I'll be breaking this video down and going into more depths within the next few days or the next few weeks. So if there's anything I missed out or anything you want to know, please let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like, subscribe and follow me on all my social media. But as always, we have last week's commander class here. We have a playlist with every single commander class here, and a subscribe button here, which again really does help out. I can't wait to get to my first K subscriber, so please share this among your friends, and I'll see you all in the next video.